Tonight, assault charges are laid against another staff member at a Saskatoon private Christian school. Also, Thomas Hamp tells a judge why he killed his girlfriend, Emily Sanche, as his defense team argues he's not criminally responsible. Plus, 50 years later, a special coin to commemorate a UFO sighting in Langenburg.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, September the 18th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. A fifth staff member of a Saskatoon private Christian school has been charged with assaulting a student. Unlike the other charges, which date back years, this allegation is from this year. And as Jason Wark reports, the accused was working as a teacher, but was not certified.
He got in the car and he shut the door and he just broke and started bawling.
Larissa Garretzy will never forget picking her son up from Saskatoon's Valor Academy in May. She says the boy was crying and looked terrified.
And I was like, "Hey, what happened? Are you okay?" And he said, "My head hurts so bad."
Her 7-year-old son told her the gym teacher had hit him twice over the head with a relay baton.
And I was like in shock, and I'm like, "Are you sure? Like, that's a very serious allegation to say that about your teacher." And he said, "Yeah, she hit me right here." And so I was like, okay. So I felt, and he had a very sizable goose egg on his head. Already? Yeah. And I was quite angry.
The school was once called Legacy Christian Academy, and before that, Christian Center Academy. It's at the center of an ongoing abuse scandal, but most of the allegations date back years. Garretzy called the school in May and demanded the teacher be fired. She says school officials did nothing, so she filed a police complaint. Police say a 44-year-old woman was charged this week with assault with a weapon. She's scheduled to appear next Wednesday here at Saskatoon's provincial court. She's the fifth staff member from Valor to be charged with assaulting students. The school and officials also face a multi-million-dollar class action lawsuit. Former students are alleging they endured widespread sexual, physical, mental, and ritual abuse. CBC News has also confirmed that the teacher who has been charged is not a certified teacher. Her name is not in the provincial registry, and the provincial government, in an email to CBC, referred to her as an educational assistant. CBC has also learned from two sources that after the alleged assault and the mother complained, the teacher was given a Courage Award at a recent school assembly. Some say this is more proof the government should stop giving Valor more than $700,000 in annual taxpayer subsidies.
With all of the issues and concerns that have come from independent schools, we as a federation strongly believe that any independent schools shouldn't be receiving government funding. We believe that all public funds should be going to our public services.
I would like it to shut down. To stop renaming itself and to just shut down completely and let the students go and get a well-rounded education elsewhere.
No one from Valor returned messages from CBC News. The teacher could not be reached, and it's unclear whether she has retained legal counsel. A provincial government official said they're aware of the situation. The official said the woman is no longer working at the school, but did not say whether any other action will be taken. Jason Warwick, CBC News, Saskatoon.
A fourth charge has been added in the case of a teen accused of lighting her classmate on fire at a Saskatoon high school. The 14-year-old girl is now charged with unlawfully causing bodily harm. It's in connection to a second victim injured in the alleged attack earlier this month. She's already charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and arson. Identities of the victims, a 15-year-old girl and a man, are protected by a publication ban. The Crown prosecution announced the new charge in a Saskatoon Provincial Court earlier today. The accused did not appear. Her next court date is September 26th. Accused killer Thomas Hamp testified in his own defense at his murder trial in Saskatoon. Hamp doesn't deny stabbing his girlfriend Emily Sanche in 2022, but his defense team argues he is not criminally responsible because of his mental illness. Today, Hamp shared why he thought he had to kill her. Dan Zakreski reports.
Thomas Hamp says that he fatally stabbed his girlfriend to save her from being raped and tortured by secret police who had them under surveillance. Now today, he says he knows that's not true, but 2 years ago, he'd stopped taking his prescription medication for obsessive compulsive disorder and, in his words, was engulfed in paranoia. Hamp is on trial for second-degree murder. In the courtroom, he was calm and clear. He told the judge he feels stable and lucid now that he's back on his medication. His appearance Wednesday comes after testimony from Emily Sanche's cousin. Catherine Sanche told the court that Emily tried repeatedly to get psychiatric help for her partner in the months before he fatally stabbed her. The cousin said Hamp never gave Emily a reason to fear for her safety, but that she feared for his safety because of escalating symptoms around his obsessive-compulsive behavior. Catherine said she kept a detailed record of Emily's repeated efforts to get medical help for Hamp, including trips to the ER and walk-in clinics in the 3 months before her death. Hamp was experiencing paranoia. He believed he was surrounded by pedophiles, had been sexually abused, that his phone had been hacked, and that he would be chemically castrated by doctors if he went for help. On the stand, Hamp said that his own actions did not help him get medical treatment, that he was not entirely honest with Emily or the doctors, and that he often downplayed his symptoms because, in his own words, he didn't want people to think he was crazy. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
An Indigenous leader says no one is standing up to the provincial government to say emergency shelters are underfunded. The city of Saskatoon is proposing putting a temporary shelter downtown. It would be in the old Saskatchewan Transportation Company building, and it would have 30 to 40 beds. Saskatoon Tribal Council Chief Mark Arcan doesn't like the location and that the money isn't going to a warm-up shelter. But if it goes ahead, he says it will be underfunded like the city's other shelters.
I did ask a ratio of staffing-wise, and their ratio is 1 to 10. I indicated our ratio at the Wellness Center was 1 to 14. Salvation Army was a 1 to 16, which is unsafe. Even at 110, the staffing ratio is unsafe. All our shelters have to be at 1 to 5. But again, the province is underfunding.
Arcan says City Council has the trump card here, but he says it would be letting the province off the hook on underfunding it if it approves the proposed site. The province's Minister of Social Services says his ministry is also working with the city to develop a warm-up location for the winter. And in Regina, City Council is once again debating where to put a potential permanent emergency shelter. At a committee meeting, councillors heard from the public about a plan to purchase the Eagles Club on the 1600 block of Saskatchewan Drive. It is just blocks from Regina Police Service headquarters, but many of the businesses near the proposed location don't want the shelter there.
I think we all can acknowledge that the space is needed, but how do we just implant it into somebody else's world, right? And not treat those people, those taxpayers, fairly.
Placing individuals with serious addiction and mental health issues in an industrial zone without direct access to these services not only undermines the city's own plan, but also sets these individuals up for continued struggles.
It's expected to cost $5.6 million to purchase and renovate the building, with the costs covered by the provincial and federal governments. A final decision will be made next week at Regina City Council. The Saskatchewan Roughriders did respond exactly the way their head coach had hoped they would. The team back to practice today after being hauled off the field yesterday for not meeting Corey Mesa's standards. After starting the season 5-1, the Riders are winless in their last 7 games. They also could be on the verge of falling out of a playoff spot in the CFL's West Division standings. The head coach says they need to narrow their focus.
Just having faith, like I always said, and understanding who we have in this building. You know, I love those guys. I think they know that, and I feel a love back from them. And just knowing that we all are still in it for the same thing, but we just kind of had to get our stuff together, and you have to prove it, and today they proved it.
We earned that scolding from coach, so I think everybody needed that. We needed that a long time ago, probably. So I'm glad we got it out of the way now to go in and go ahead and do what we got to do. I think we're a very dangerous team. I just feel like once we lock in and just just lock on the details, man, and just play for one another and just continue to just keep fighting and clawing and scratching and winning, and we'll be all right.
There are just 5 games left in the season. The team is still banged up. It appears right tackle Jamarcus Hardrick, Yoshi to others, won't be back before the season wraps. Kickoff against Calgary is at 7:30 at McMahon Stadium on Friday night. Well, while the puddles are drying up in some parts of Saskatchewan, others are already in for round 2 of the rain. And remember, as Ethan told us, it is a lot of rain. I'll have your forecast for you after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Royal Canadian Mint in Canada Post is out with a new coin commemorating a famous moment in Saskatchewan's history. It's a story of UFOs and crop circles dating back to 1974. Shlok Talati has more.
Lights that appear mysteriously in the sky. Perfect circles formed meticulously in fields of wheat.
The local paper is full of stories about whether the tiny prairie town is being invaded by aliens.
50 years ago, some residents of Langenburg made headlines around the world. People in the community not far from the Manitoba border in central Saskatchewan say they saw flying saucers in their town. And 5 decades later, people there are still talking about those unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. That includes Jonathan Foor, nephew of Edwin Foor, the man who said he saw the UFOs. Jonathan has been farming that same land for the last 27 years.
But when we were kids, I mean, it was dubbed at some point the UFO capital of Saskatchewan or whatever for sightings.
The incident was so significant, it's now being recognized by Canada Post and the Royal Canadian Mint. Known as the Langenburg event, it's the 7th coin in Canada's Unexplained Phenomena series of coins. It's 1 ounce of pure silver, and you can purchase it online for $140.
My brother was swathing, and he was swathing over on that knoll there.
Leo Foor reached the farm a couple of hours after the alleged sightings on the morning of September 1st, 1974.
We were shocked because the imprints were there, and they were about 8 feet in diameter, and they were like a donut, and the grass was swept one way. So definitely there was something spinning in that grass.
Ron Morier was the RCMP constable on duty when people claimed to see the UFOs. It was just his first year in Langenburg that morning in 1974. And he says what happened next is forever in his memory.
It was a bit baffling. I'd never in my career up to that point, had to investigate anything like this, so it was not your everyday investigation.
According to the RCMP incident report, what was left behind was 5 different distinct circles caused by something exerting what had to be heavy air or exhaust pressure over the high grass. 5 crop circles, an event weird enough to grab local and worldwide headlines.
I was surprised. I thought, well, what the heck, maybe my brother was seeing things and that. But until I saw the rings, seeing is believing.
And that wasn't the only time the people of Langenburg reported UFO sightings. Some people say they saw the saucers again in 1989.
50 years of experience in newspapers, I'm the kind of, you just sort of develop I gotta see it to believe it attitude. But at the same time, there's that, wow, there's something gotta be something there.
Not surprisingly, details of the UFO sighting remain unclear. But the crop fields from half a century ago continue to be a landmark in the community's history, now etched in time with a commemorative coin. Shlok Talati, CBC News, Langenburg.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Employee pricing is on now.
Well, here's a live look at downtown Regina tonight, where it's 21 degrees, but not everyone in the province is having such a lovely evening. Now, are they, Ethan?
No, that's right. A second day now, Sam, of severe weather, and we've just had another tornado warning issued for a portion of the province. This is around the Whitewood and Esterhazy areas. We're talking about a warning for the rural municipalities of Willowdale, Grayson, and Fertile Belt, and this is heading toward Ochapowace, Kakawishtaha, and Cowessess First Nations. It's specifically kind of this cell in here that we're worried about. It's moving off to the northwest at about 40 kilometers an hour. Highway 47 running about here, and it's about to cross it in the next few minutes. It'll be off toward the Neudorf area as it continues to move off to the northwest from there. That same cell produced this, what appears to be a tornado on the ground, not yet confirmed by Environment Canada, but looks very much like it. This is a courtesy of Prairie Storm Chasers. This was south of Whitewood near Langbank just about an hour or so ago now, and that same cell is the one that's now tornado warned once again. You can see numerous other cells starting to form around this as well. A severe thunderstorm watch is now in effect for southeastern Saskatchewan, expanded up toward Yorkton and over to Regina now. The reason that we're seeing this is because we've had the sunshine come out. That's been warming up the temperatures, making the atmosphere a lot more unstable with the temperatures still being warmer and a little bit of humidity as well. And of course, those conditions, especially that humidity, the result of this big low pressure system that's been bringing rain through southwestern and west central Saskatchewan, which has been heavy at times. We still have the rainfall warning in effect for the southwest corner of the province. Tonight, this system is going to continue to bring more rain to that area. You can see it's moving eastward. We'll still see some thunderstorm cells in east, central, and southeastern parts of the province. Tomorrow morning, though, the rain comes to an end, and we will actually see the sun come out in the places where we've seen that very heavy rain today. That sun expands eastward through the day with maybe still a few showers possible in the Parkland region. We get a break tomorrow evening. And it's not for long, though, because we have another system that begins moving in on early Friday morning, a few sprinkles and showers, and then some more extensive rain begins moving in for Friday afternoon and the evening. A few more thunderstorm cells possible into southeastern Saskatchewan. With this, we could see some heavier amounts of rain in the Parkland region come very early on Saturday morning before things finally clear out. So rainfall totals, for the most part, probably going to be in the range of another 5 to 10 millimeters. Again, that 20 millimeters near the Battlefords could be overnight tonight. And then that second round of rain moving through could bring another 10 to 15 on Friday and into Saturday. For northern Saskatchewan, I think generally amounts 10 to 15 millimeters is what we're looking at, as that system will then begin moving to you. And it's going to be a breezy one tomorrow with gusts near 50 to 70 kilometers an hour, especially in southeastern Saskatchewan. I think that'll definitely be the case in Regina, where we'll see that increasing cloudiness with some showers. Temperatures, though, getting nice for the weekend as the sun comes back. Saskatoon, some morning showers possible for you with some gusty winds before that next system moves in Friday. And finally, some clearing coming for the weekend, Sam.
All right. Thanks for that, Ethan.
You're welcome.
We've been very blessed with the support that we get from ownership. We don't expect that to change with today's news.
Rogers Communications has bought Bell out of its stake in Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment for $4.7 billion. That's the company that owns the Toronto Maple Leafs and Toronto Raptors. Bell Canada Enterprises owns 37.5% of MLSE, and the company said it is selling to reduce its debt and support its ongoing transformation from a telecommunications firm to a tech company. They expect the deal to close mid-next year. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre has been calling on other parties to support a non-confidence vote to topple the Liberal government, but it's proving difficult. Rafi Boudjikanian has more on that and about a prominent Liberal minister's plan to leave the cabinet.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre taunting other opposition parties over support for Prime Minister Trudeau's Liberals.
Why won't the NDP stand up when it counts so that we can end this costly coalition?
Adapting his message for Quebec, where the Bloc Québécois is a major player. The Bloc is going to keep the costliest and most centralizing Prime Minister in history in power, he said.
We see that the leader of the opposition enjoys his political games, enjoys chasing after his own political interests.
At issue, this conservative motion the House will vote on next week. The House has no confidence in the Prime Minister and the government. Poilievre's trying to isolate the Liberals after the NDP recently left a formal confidence and supply agreement with the government and a by-election loss for the Liberals in a traditional Liberal stronghold in Montreal.
Donc la réponse, c'est non.
The Bloc says it won't side with the Conservatives, but wants concessions from Trudeau in return. All this while the Prime Minister is also dealing with another loss. A key cabinet minister and organizer in Quebec, Pablo Rodriguez, is leaving those functions to run for leadership of that province's Liberal Party.
Obviously, he leaves a hole. He's a very important member of our cabinet and our caucus, but there is a lot of other MPs and ministers that stay behind and will keep fighting for the interests of Quebecers and Canadians.
Their fight may come sooner than they'd like. The NDP won't say how it intends to vote on the Conservatives' confidence motion. To survive, the Liberals only need the support of a single opposition party. But as of now, the next general election is just over a year away, and there is no telling how the government will manage that balancing act over the next several months. Rafi Bujikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather. It's going to be an interesting night.
Yeah, and a reminder that we have a tornado warning in effect for the RMs of Willowdale, Grayson, and Fertile Belt just coming up on 6:30 here for these cells, or this one in particular, just northwest of Whitewood, moving toward the Kakawishtaha and Ochapowace and Cowessess First Nations. This storm previously produced what we believe was a tornado south of Whitewood, and funnel clouds have been spotted with this, so take your tornado safety precautions right now. For Regina, by the time we get to tomorrow morning, we're looking at some light rain. The wind's really going to be picking up into the afternoon. Gusts near 70 possible. A chance of showers as we head into the afternoon hours. Again, I think for Saskatoon, maybe a little bit of light rain to start the day. Quite breezy, but maybe even some sunshine poking out as we head into the afternoon, Sam.
Sunshine?
Where has that word been?
I say that like it wasn't sunny this afternoon.
Well, yes, that's right.
Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/Sask or /Saskatoon. You can subscribe to CBC Saskatchewan's YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your phone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.